Okay, so something's not right. Hmm. If something's not right, does that mean it's left? And if right has left, what's left over? Nothing. So if you're right, you can't be left. If left, then what's there left to be? You could be right about that. So left could be right. If left out right, where would right be? To the left of right. No, right would be right to the left. Depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, how would you write that? Well, if you're left-handed, you would use your left hand, and you could be right about that. If you're right-handed, you could be right-handed and be right about that. Um, just don't let your left hand know what the right hand's doing. That would not be right. No? Okay, so um, if left the building, he would be right. And would there still be a right? If there was no left and no right, then how do we know we're right about that? Can you hear the sound of one hand clapping in the forest? And would it be with the right hand or the left hand? And could you hear that? And which hand would be correct? Would it be the left hand or the right hand? I don't know. So what if both hands clapped? Then they'd both be right because they're both clapping. The left hand and the right. Or the right hand and the left. Oh, well, they're clasped together. So if they're clasped together, they're just one hand. Well, together. Um, okay. So if you're left-handed, does that mean you don't use your right hand? If you're right-handed, does that mean you don't use your left hand? And is that right? I don't know. If you're Republican, does that mean you're right? Not unless you're left with nothing to campaign upon. If you're a lefty and you're a Democrat, you might be right, but maybe not. So this whole left-right issue is like, depending which way you're going, are you going to go left or go right? And if you if you turned left, you could be right about making a left instead of a right turn. If you made a right turn, you might have wished you might have left or had made a left. Just don't be left out. Never be left out. That's not right. No, don't be left out. It's not right to be left out at all. If someone left you, would that be right? If you're a Miss Left, would you be looking for Mr. Right? If you found Mr. Right, would you become Mrs. Right? Yes, you could be Mrs. Right. And then you both be right. If you had a Mr. Right and Mrs. Well, if Mr. Right met Mrs. Right, well, if Mr. Right met the right person, or Miss Right, or Mr. or Miss or Miss Right met the right person, they wouldn't be left out anymore. They'd be with someone, and then they would be both right. And if you're both right, then no one would be left out. Right? Right. So then don't be left out. Get with a Mr. or Mrs. Right, and you can both be right. And you'd be not left alone.